Hi guys, this is Uncontrollable RC, and today we are going to talk about a new product I just received in the mail. It is, as you can see from the box, a roll cage city. As in the name brand, it's a roll cage, custom built, custom made. They say that not one of the roll cages is the same. They make them to order. And you can find them on VG Racing if you type it into the Google search bar, or you can go to www.rollcagecity.com. And you can also find them at rollcagecity.com as well. Also, some of the products that they make for them are the Traxxas, HPI, Team Lozi, and Team Associated, as well as XTM. I don't know if these are all the brands. From what they had on the web page, I believe there's probably about maybe one or two more companies that are on there, but that's just list a couple of the few. This one is for the Traxxas two-wheel drive XL5 traditionally. They make them for the Stampede 4x4 and the two-wheel drive. They make them for the Slash, the Revo, T-Max, anything you can think of. According to Traxxas, they make. So it's a very good, reputable company. I bought this on Wednesday and received it this week, Saturday. So it didn't take very long for the company to get there, or for the package to get there. And it was very fast. So I'm quite impressed with the company, and I'm sure I'm going to order from them again. And they also have some of the hop-up parts and stock plastic parts for any of these companies on the side on their website, so you can find those easily as well there. Why don't we get rid of the box? I'm sure you guys are done looking at it, so we'll throw it on the floor there. And here's what you guys really wanted to see: Stampede. That is not original, as you can see. I've upgraded it with some 2.8 Proline Trencher tires. People have heard me talk about this already, so we'll just kind of give them a brief review. RPM, front RPMs, A-arms, new hub carriers in the rear and front, and I still have the plastic camber links. I'm trying to get rid of those and go to the aluminum. Brushless V-line system for it. Very well built. I love this system. It works quite well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the lid off, and there is the roll cage for you. Traditionally, what I thought, originally is what I thought, is that the company, the pictures showed that the truck wasn't exactly the bar, the roll cage, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be all that strong from the pictures, because there was gaps and holes missing that I thought for sure if you landed on them they would bend and crack. I was wrong. As soon as I took it out of the box, I kind of did a twisting motion with the frame. Didn't even budge. Very, very strong, very well built, very well engineered. Very well put together. Loved how the cage looks on the car. It adds a lot of weight to it. We'll get into that later and how to correct that. But anyways, here's the rear. This is the one complaint I have to say I have about this system. It is not very well built in the rear, in my opinion. The system seems like it, the manufacturers seem like they kind of cut off the rear end. Move you guys around a little bit. It almost seemed like they cut off the rear end and they just kind of left it hanging there, and they just kind of welded something around it. I've heard that with about almost everybody else that has talked about either the Stampede. I've seen a couple photos of a Slash roll cage, and they say the same thing. But, you know, what can you say? I'm sure it's hard to make a roll cage from scratch and how to engineer it perfectly. So, you know, I'm not going to complain all too terribly about that. But anyways, and how it's attached in the rear is it's attached with these two screws. That's where originally the upper body mount holes would sit for the lid on top for the body. I actually broke mine a while ago and never got around to repairing it and buying a new one. So I just kind of left it off for right now. We'll do a video on that when we get the new upper mounts and I can show you how to install those with the roll cage on as well. One thing that I would highly recommend right away when you buy this is get a new shock tower. People are probably saying, why would you do that? Well, the one reason I would do that is because the traditionally old rear one that comes stock, let me get my hand in there, it kind of bends. And I think with the chassis, with the roll cage on there, and it's with the ground hitting it, if it rolls, I think it's going to snap or crack really easily. So I'm going to upgrade that right away to a RPM front suspension, or shock tower, I mean. To get your battery in and out of the car, it's quite difficult. I load it in through the front windshield, and I adjust it through the rear. You can get your hands in quite easily into the cage, but past that, it's not all that hard, or not all that easy. So I guess I'll move to the front here. And the front is mounted with these two Allen screws that are included in the kit. They are mounted with these two traditional nuts. I would probably advise and throw those out right away and get some lockers, because when you're running, you're jumping and you're bashing, those might come off and you're never going to see them again, and then the cage could come loose and bend away. I put rubber grommets or washers in between these two, so I hope that if the cage does come down on the body or anything like that, it's going to have a little bit of give and a little bit of shock before the plastic cracks. That's what I'm really trying to avoid. So I hope that does work. I hope the plastic will hold up to the jolting and the shocks that are going to be coming through the roll cage. Like I said earlier, the cage adds a lot of weight to it. I weighed this before I bought the cage. It was about 4.5 pounds, I believe. That was on a scale, appropriate scale and everything like that to make sure I got the right weight. It's about 4.5 pounds, and it weighs a lot with the battery in it and with the tires. I would say just by hanging it there on the top, it weighs about 5 to 6 pounds now, with the cage added and the battery included. It's added with that, and with the added weight, the front end sags way too much that I would prefer. As you can see, it comes up and then kind of has a level. It's quite level between the A-arms and the bumper. I want to try and get rid of that, because if I go hit something, I only have that much room in order for the shocks to properly work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a thicker weight in the oil and the shocks, and a stiffer springs in the front and rear, hopefully to get the suspension to go up a little bit more, so that we have a little bit more play with them, so we don't bottom out all the time, and we can use those appropriately. You guys are probably looking at the front grille. That was a modification I did to it right away when I got it. It's a grill. It's wire mesh or hardware cloth, I believe it's called. That you can buy at your local hardware store, Home Depot, Menards, places like that, Farm and Fleet. And it's protecting the servo and the battery in the back from any debris that could be flying through the body and through the air when you're bashing, like gravel, rocks, dirt, sand, snow, stuff like that you don't want inside the car. So I just took some, cut it out to the shape of the front bumper, as you could say, and attached it with tiny zip ties to make sure it stayed on and it was strong. That's about it. And yeah, that's about all I have for you guys today. Kind of short video for what I'm traditionally doing. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting a blue RPM gear cover, which should be coming in the mail maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And front and rear shock guard protectors from RPM traditionally as well, blue for both of those. And that's going to be kind of the end of this project, I believe. Kind of done with it for right now. When it gets into the hotter summer and seasons, I am planning on getting a, let me turn it on for you, a ESC cooling fan for the Traxxas. Get that for you. An ESC cooling fan for the Traxxas. Hoping that that's going to work real soon, and I'm going to get that. Battery's kind of dying on the camera, so going to end with that. I am going to tell you guys we're going to start a restoration video soon of a classic Tamiya F1 racing formula car. That's all I have for you today. Please subscribe. If you have any questions, you can ask below. And please subscribe. I'm a young video maker, producer, whatever would you like to call it, trying to follow in the ways of DJ Medic and RC Nightmare. So please subscribe, and like I said, if you have any questions, answer below.